And all the informed opinion says that the danger moments for Gardner will be in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He's been known to go over from big punches early on, conceding perhaps 2 or 3 inches in height to Sykes and just over 5 pounds in weight. Gardner's 14.8 1/4 and Sykes 14.13 1/2. Actually a little lighter than it was thought he'd come in. He's about 6'3", Sykes, from Wakefield, getting his chance very late in life. Gardner is a man who fights on aggression and determination and stamina. The further this goes, it's thought the more it'll suit Gardner. But he might have to weather some pretty hard stuff early on. Sykes jabbing well, looking a bit red round the left eye, Sykes, where Gardner presumably has caught him with a right. Gardner getting his own punches through, close in. Sykes doesn't mind going in close, although he's got the reach to keep Gardner away. Fair old pace, more like lightweights than heavyweights. Won't keep it up for 15 rounds, that's for sure. Good right from Sykes. And an equally good one from Gardner. Tremendous first round. Both men finding each other easy to find. Gardner's own left jab looking good. Sykes looking for the big one. Must find a big punch from somewhere. That was a good first round and very even. Well, it was thought that Gardner might walk into some big stuff early on and might find all sorts of trouble in the opening round. In fact, it didn't happen, and he gave as good as he got. But both men were obviously very easy to hit. So this is going to be a hard and sharp battle, but I doubt if it's going to be a long one. I don't see, for instance, that they can possibly keep up the pace they've set in the first round for very long. John Louis Gardner, 29 wins in 30 fights, just 1 defeat, but the one he had was disastrous against the American Dale Arrington in this ring at Wembley back in September 77, when Arrington knocked him out in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Otherwise, all wins for Gardner. Jim Brimmell, the referee from Wales. Good right hand from Sykes. Gardner took it high up on the head. Extremely fast and really quite skillful, considering that neither man is noted for boxing talent. They actually look quite well suited. Gardner is a sort of mincing machine of a fighter. He likes to wade in and keep pumping away. He doesn't put people on the floor that often, but he wears them down. A sort of minor Marciano. to anxious calls from behind me where the Sykes contingent are. Put them together, Paul, they're saying. Getting a little anxious. These were the rounds he was expected to do very well in. Sykes keeps that long left going. It's a good-looking punch. Could give Gardner a lot of trouble because he'll have trouble getting past it. Sykes has so much reach on him. Gardner some 5 or 6 years younger. Remarkably fast heavyweight fight. And so far, a pretty good one. Catches Gardner with the right, slows Gardner down momentarily. Another very close round. Gardner had the best of it at the start, but it's gone the other way towards the finish. Well, nobody could complain about value for money after those opening 2 rounds. Here's the man who's somewhere between 30 and 32, we think. Paul Sykes. The man for whom boxing has been a lifeline and for whom tonight is something really very special indeed. Just 8 pro fights behind him, one of them a defeat on disqualification for butting and another a draw. Funnily enough, he has actually been 10 rounds of boxing competitively, and Gardner never has. Gardner's never been beyond 8.5 rounds in his life, but this man, Paul Sykes, much less experienced, has in fact done 10 rounds a couple of times. So far, Sykes has clobbered Gardner quite hard with that right hand to the head, but he hasn't made Gardner quiver at all. That could be significant. Gardner's been known to come back from worse clobberings than this. Well, this is clearly going to be a battle of stamina. It's a question of whose strength gives out first. Here comes the chant for Sykes. So this is a good old-fashioned, hungering, nothing spared fight. You fight till you drop. Gardner's slinging punches in at a formidable rate. His work rate is really quite high. And Sykes is beginning to blow. And he's not throwing nearly as much leather as Gardner. And they really have set a remarkable pace, and that'll suit Gardner. Gardner beginning to get on top in the 3rd round for the first time. Really on top. And these early rounds must be taking an enormous amount out of both men. The pace just has to slacken. first really decisive round by one man or the other, and it's been for Gardner. Good run. Well, Gardner really did get on top then, and the man's stamina was beginning to show because he was still going strong and keeping his work rate high, whereas Sykes noticeably was beginning to blow a bit, and his work rate was dropping off alarmingly. So it could be a sign that the tremendous pace set in these first 3 rounds is beginning to turn in favour of Gardner, and that's just what one would expect. But Sykes may still have a big punch left, and if he does, and he manages to get it across and time it, then it could be very interesting. No telling yet which way this will go, although Sykes on my card is now dropped just slightly behind.
Second down, round for war.
Gardner's 2 most recent fights against the Americans Greg Sorrentino and Mike Korenecki were both very similar, with in the middle rounds Gardner taking enormous amounts of punishment and looking to be on the verge of defeat and then coming back. And so far he's never looked in quite such trouble here. Sykes beginning to get very defensive, beginning to weave, trying to keep out of trouble, and just looking now for the occasional punch. Meanwhile, Gardner's rate of work stays alarmingly high. Alarming, that is, for Sykes. Sykes' legs beginning to look a bit shaky. All the spring's gone out of him. Finds it difficult now to get set to throw a punch. And Gardner's still bouncing about on fresh legs. Good right hand. My word, Sykes was looking for that one for a long time. And Gardner took it well and came straight back. And that will be very discouraging for Sykes and his supporters. Sykes lumbering forward now, walking into trouble, but still looking for the big right hand. Looks like his only hope. Gardner keeping it going all the time. The strength of this man is remarkable. Everything going in. Sykes almost reduced to a standstill, and he knows he's in trouble. The shake of the head, the lead in the legs, can hardly lift the arms, and I think he's totally overwhelmed at the extraordinary work rate of John L. Gardner. Gardner surprises a lot of people with this sort of action. You can hit him, and he still comes back, and he's still swarming all over you. I said he was a minor Marciano, Gardner, and that's just what he is. He's that type of fighter. He absolutely relentless. Absolutely relentless. Well, now, there's only one point remaining now about this, and that is, can Sykes from somewhere find a big punch with which to halt Gardner in his tracks? It's his only hope. He can't outbox him, that's been proved. And he's not going to outlast him by the look of things. He needs a big punch, and he needs it right now, and he needs it desperately. Those gloves of Gardner's are like sash weights coming at you. Found a punch. Sykes found a right hand. Sykes' mouth looking very much the worse for wear. Not short of courage, Sykes. Taken a lot. Very tired. Still trying to come back. Brimmell's looking very closely at Sykes. Tremendous action fight. And Sykes has to give way and back off. The pressure was too great. But he backs himself up against the ropes. No place to be with Gardner. Still the punches rain on him. Sykes doesn't know where they're coming from. Puts his head down, goes in, and walks into another lashing, stinging attack of punches. Good right hand from Sykes. Doesn't seem to make any difference. That bell must be for Sykes. I think he hardly knows where he is. His body must be sore, his head must be ringing. And he says something to the corner. And whatever it is, it's nothing cheerful. Well, he has soaked up a lot of punishment, Sykes, and you've got to hand it to him for gameness, because he's still trying. He's fit. And how he wants this title. Because it's the one thing perhaps in life that will really get him up out of trouble that he seems to have been in most of his life. Jim Brimmell is coming over to have a look at him. The referee looking closely in, talking to the corner. And Jim Brimmell's backed off, and perhaps he said, well, we'll give you another round and see how it goes.
Seconds out. Round 6.
Sykes rescue victory from the jaws of defeat? It looks very unlikely. Perhaps this fight will prove to a lot of people that John L. Gardner is a much better fighter than people give him credit for. I know he's got a fairly inexperienced man in front of him, but what a job he's done on him. And he hasn't boxed too badly either. And anybody who can keep up this sort of pressure on you has to be someone to be reckoned with. Lacks a bit in height and reach, but he does exert pressure. Sykes doesn't know which way to go to avoid it. there's going to be no respite because Gardner's not that sort of man. The end could be very near here. Can't put him down, but he's doing everything else to him. And he's turned away, and that was the sign. He's turned away, and that was what Brimmell was waiting for. He turned away, and Gardner remains the British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion. There was no coming back from that for Sykes. The moment he turned away from the punishment, Jim Brimmell knew he'd had enough, and very sensibly he moved in to stop it there and then in the 6th round. So the great chance in life for Sykes has come and gone without success, and John L. Gardner has proved himself tonight a very worthy holder of the British and Commonwealth heavyweight titles.